Are there things that you wish parents would stop bringing their kids to the doctor's office for, or just would just ride out? What are some things that maybe we should just could stop worrying about?
I think, well, first of all, what you mentioned before, it is hard sometimes when you have no frame of reference to know exactly when to worry. But I would say in general, from the pediatric standpoint, fevers, as long as the kid is a little bit older, of course, if it's the first month or two, then that's something you want to get checked right away. But for older kids get sick all of the time. I mean, the average kid gets sick 3 to 5 times. And once you have a frame of reference, you realize it's really, in general, nothing to be worried about. If they have a cough, runny nose, congestion, a low-grade fever, most of them are going to last 3 to 5 days. The best thing you can do in general is rest, make sure they have fluids, give them some immune support, whatever it is. You don't always have to rush them into the office for that. If you want to, that's fine. I mean, if you're worried about something, if you're worried about breathing, if you feel like the fever's been going on for a long time, that's totally reasonable to get checked. But just because your child has a 101 fever, but they're smiling and sitting there, you don't necessarily have to come in. So I think that can help parents to, again, put a frame of reference of, it's been going on longer, the symptoms seem more severe. But for when we get sick, I mean, what do you do when you get sick? I think parents forget that sometimes. I mean, it kind of goes all out the window when it's our kid, and we forget how many times we've been sick in our life. What do we do? It gets better. And so sometimes if you can just think about yourself and what you've seen from yourself in your life, you can put it into perspective for your child, and that can de-stress you a little bit to give you a little more time to let the body do what it's meant to do. Because sometimes a child seems perfectly fine and they'll come into the office, and I feel like in those situations where there really wasn't anything to be overly worried about, that taking that child out of the house, taking them off the couch, making them come to the doctor's office, that is more difficult on their immune system and their stress than just resting at home. But again, of course, sometimes you need to get seen, and that's reasonable. So it's a balance.
So there's a lot of pressure to be just on and, the perfect parent and things like that. And I think I imagine a lot of parents feel like, I'm not being a good parent if I don't take my kid to the pediatrician's office when they're sick, even if it is a virus or cold or a fever that just is kind of passing through.
If you go back 50, 100 years, well, what did you do if your child had a cough? You ask grandma, you ask, your cousins, whoever was around you, and they're like, yeah, it's fine. Give them some tea and lemon, and it's fine. And now you go online and you Google it, and it's like, oh, it could be this, and it could be pneumonia, and it could be that, and oh, I'm worried about this. I need to make sure to get it checked. When realistically, it's just a cough, and they're going to get better.